Hey everyone, welcome back to the second video on my channel. So today we're going to be looking at pre-flop suited connectors and suited broadways and some suited wheel aces, 100 big blinds to 200 big blinds deep. And this video is going to be a little bit different from from the last video. This time we're going to be using the frequencies option. So I'm going to have to decide on what I think the proper frequencies are. So I think this is a lot tougher. There's a lot more room for error. Okay, so in this hand, we are 150 big blinds deep. There's an under the gun +1 open to 2.5. We're in the hijack. So there's basically no calling from these positions to my understanding. And we probably don't want to be 3-betting this hand pure, but we probably want to be 3-betting a little bit. I think I'm going to do 25% 3-bet, 75% fold. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, so it looks like GTO wants to be basically pure 3-betting this hand. Let's just have a look at the chart. Makes sense. So a lot of the suited Broadway kings are just 3-betting basically pure. Okay, I think buttons opening, we're in the small blind. I don't think folding is an option. And I also don't think calling is an option either, really. Or if it is, it's like a very slight call percentage. So let's just 3-bet this pure. Perfect. 7-5 suited versus a hijack open. We're just going to be folding this. I think we really want to be using the non-gappers in this spot, and even those might be a mix. So we're going to go to 100 fold, and then let's look at what we would be 3-betting. So yeah, even the suited connectors are mainly folding versus that open. So the gappers for sure are folding. Let's close that. Let's go to the next hand. Okay, so here we have a under the gun open. We're in the small blind. And I believe we're just going to be folding here versus the under gun open. Perfect. Let's have a look at what we are defending with here. So yeah, all the suited gappers are being folded here. And then we're not doing too much calling, mainly raising when we are playing. I mean, ace queen suited and some of these like queens and jacks are the most high percentage calls. It's kind of interesting. It's not even fully 3-betting ace king off here. Let's minimize that. Okay, there's a hijack open. We're pretty deep, 175 big blinds. I don't think we're gonna have any calls. We're probably gonna be having some folds. I'm thinking it might be like 50-50 or even less than 50-50. I think Jack 10 suited is like 50-50. So let's do a little bit less raising with this one. This might even just be a fold pure. You know what? I'm just going to do 25 raise, 0 call, 75 fold. It might even just be a pure fold though. Okay, we got it right. Let's just see here. Yeah, it is a pure fold. So it gave me it right just because I'm sure the raising isn't losing that much EV, and most of the time I will be folding it. Okay, 4-3. This is a similar spot to our last video. I think we want to be calling it mainly with a little bit of 3-betting, if I remember from our last video. So I think it's going to be even less than 25 though. Let's go 15 and then 85. Whoops. 1585. Okay, so not right. Must have been a slightly different spot from the last video. Let's have a look here. Okay, so now it's just pure folding. Let's have a look at this range. Maybe in the last video we weren't as deep. I'm not 100% sure. But now we're just folding 4-3 suited in this spot. This is, I believe, again from the last video, I think this is just a pure fold. And I believe we're going to be calling Jack 10 suited pure, and then Queen Jack mainly fold, Queen 10 basically pure fold. So let's just do fold and see. We'll look. Yeah, we were correct. Let's just see here what we're doing. So yeah, Jack 10 suited is defending here. Looks like King Jack suited wants to do some re-raising though. Let's see. Yeah, it wants to be doing some bluffing. Interesting. Okay, under the gun opens. We have 10-8 suited. I think this is just a fold. Whoops, 100. I don't think we want to be playing a hand against under the gun open with a suited gapper like this. Yep, basically pure fold. 9-8 suited versus a cutoff open, 125 big blinds deep. Probably will have a little bit of folding, and I don't think the solver likes to call from the small blind too much. Let's do a mix like this, like 33 raise, mainly folding. Okay, so it's just pure folding this hand. Let's see what it's doing with the other lower suited connectors. Okay, so it's mainly folding them out of from the small blind versus a cutoff. A little bit of 3-betting with lower ones. Let's close that. Okay, so if we weren't playing 9-8 suited versus the cutoff, we're for sure not going to be playing 4-3 versus the low jack. So we're just going to do 100% fold. Yeah, it's 100% fold there. Cutoff versus under the gun. So this is going to be a 100% fold as well. I think it's going to be 3-betting like 5-6, 6-7 suited, like a little bit. Like maybe like 20%, 25%, and then mainly folding, and this one's just a pure fold. And let's just see if I'm at all right. Yeah. Perfect. Let's continue on here. Okay, 10-9 suited versus the under the gun +1. We're 175 big blinds deep. So again, from the hijack, there's going to be 0 calls. So now it's just a matter of what are we doing? Are we raising or are we folding? I think we're going to do, let's do a 50%, 50-50. Just so we're not ending up on the flop with too much stuff like this, but we do want to have some board coverage, I think. Okay, so when they repop it, When we do open this only 50% of the time, I think we get to continue 100% of the time versus a 3-bet, or sorry, a 4-bet. But if we had 3-bet this pure, then we're in a tough spot where we're going to be having too much 10-9 suited here. But I think we're just going to be calling here and playing in position. Okay, let's see where we messed up here. Okay, so pre-flop, I kind of had the right idea, just had the frequency off. So I was raising a little bit too much. And then chances are when we do raise 14% of the time, we're just going to be continuing with all. Oh, wow. Let's see here. Yeah. So we're basically continuing when we get 4-bet with all of our 10-9 that did 3-bet. Okay, 6-4 versus a cutoff open to 3x. So I think this is going to be a lot of folding and probably some calling. Let's try 50-50. It might just be a pure fold, but let's see what it wants us to do here. Okay, so that's just basically pure wrong. So let's just have a look. Yeah, it's just a pure fold. Let's see what we are defending with here. Okay, so none of the gappers until we get to 10-8 suited. And then obviously like Jack-9 plus suited. And then all of our suited connectors are defending or playing in some form. Just the gapper gets folded. Okay, next hand. Okay, so we're under the gun. We get 3-bet by the hijack. So I think this is like not a pure open. It's like a 50% open, and then when we get 3-bet, we get to defend. Basically all the times that we did open. GTO might want to have like a little bit of 4-betting, but let's just do basically a pure call here and see. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of 4-betting. Yeah, I was basically correct. Not sure why I'm not going with my gut here and just putting in a little bit of 4-betting, but okay, next hand. I think this is going to be just a fold. Let's go 100% fold. Just a little bit too deep to be playing this like hand versus a pretty strong range out of position. And I believe, okay, it's got a sliver of calls, but I think in practice, if you just pure fold this, you're not going to lose too much value. Queen Jack versus the under the gun open. This is a little bit tricky. Probably wants us to be folding some. And then I don't think we want to be calling. Maybe we do like something like this. Sorry, not calling. We want to be raising. Raising and folding, mainly folding. Just up against such a strong range, like he could just have like ace-queen type hands, queens, kings, aces. This isn't really a good spot to be attacking from. Like at least if we're like in position on them, we have an advantage post flop. But from the small blind, I mean, that being said, it might even be less than 25 raise, maybe like 15% raise or something. Let's just see how wrong I am. Okay, yeah, it's just pure fold. It gave me the double check because again, I'm mainly folding, and the 3-bet probably isn't losing that much value. But as far as GTO goes, wants to just be pure folding this hand. So yeah, there you see the range. on what we're supposed to be doing. And we got a couple more hands here. So this is basically the exact same spot, a little bit shallower. And we got Jack 10. I didn't take that close of a look to see what we're supposed to be doing with Jack 10. It's probably a mix again between like folding and raising. Probably a little bit less than this. Let's go like 33 and 66. Whoops. 33 and 0. And confirm. Okay, so this is one of the hands that it is actually just calling with just a sliver and mainly folding. So we're right on the mainly folding. Looks like I'm a little bit too aggressive in some spots and a little bit too tight in other spots. Okay, 10-8 versus under the gun. You have to be very tight here. This is going to be a fold. Kind of curious. I'll look at the range and see what hands we are playing from this spot, but I think 10-8 is just way too bad. Like even the good suited connectors are basically just folding here versus an under the gun open. Let's see here. Whoops. Okay, so like 6-5 suited and just like a sliver of the other ones are 3-betting, but for the most part, all these suited gappers are folding. Let's minimize. Let's go to the next hand. Okay, now we still got 10-8 suited, but now we're in the big blind versus the button open. I think folding is out of the question. Whoops, folding is out of the question. Select 0. And I think we're going to mainly be raising with a little bit of calling. I could see these like swapping or being more like 66-33 or whatnot. But let's mainly raise. I like being aggressive. Okay, so now versus the 4-bet, we're just going to be folding this hand. Whoops. Folding. Okay, we almost got it right. Let's see here. Okay, so I was kind of spot on pre-flop saying that I could be flip-flopped here. Whenever it's like a mix, the EV between the two is basically very similar, so that's why it's mixing. So like if you're off on a little bit, you're not going to lose that much EV as long as you're just not off in one direction on like every play, because then you can be exploited a little bit. But this is pretty close. Okay, we're under the gun versus a low jack raise. This is kind of a tough spot. I don't think we want to be calling. I think we want to mainly be folding here. I think we want to be using like ace-5 and ace-4 as our 4-bet, or some of our 4-bet bluffs anyways. And I think ace-3 is just a fold. And I'm going to look up that last hand just to see. Yeah, it gave me a double star. Let's just study the spot and see what's being 4-bet. So yeah, I was basically spot on. Ace-5, ace-4 suited are going to be 4-betting a lot. Some calls. And then the ace-3 suited is just a pure fold. Okay, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Again, post in the comments if you have any spots that you want me to go over. I will start doing some post-flop and flop spots. I just figured I'd get a couple of these pre-flop spots covered. Just because if you don't have your pre-flop kind of down pat, you're just going to be put into these post-flop spots that don't really have solutions for. And you're just going to get yourself into trouble if you're playing way too wide pre-flop. But yeah, leave a comment, subscribe, let me know what you guys want to see. and we'll see you guys on the next video.